In a previous video, I talked about how I write through experience. I leave my imagination to writing my children's books. But when the piece I want to read today relates to my main character taking an overdose. I too took a massive overdose some years ago, 10, 20 years ago actually. Series of events, and then the last straw broke the camel's back. And that gave me an insight to into the mind of somebody in that situation, and enabled me about a year ago to give a talk to some people who had lost loved ones through suicide. You see, when you lose someone, like the person who decides to do it, not generally, I'm just talking about one instant, they're so relieved that it's all going to end. They've decided to end their lives. And they're in a great form, happy form that it's all going to end. And that confuses those left behind. I mean, they don't know what's happened. I mean, he was so happy, And then there's this feeling that from those left behind that they didn't do enough and all sorts of things. And the aim of my talk was to encourage people to seek professional help, because a natural death, there is a mourning process, and then it eases in the majority of cases, I'd say. But in the case of suicide, it can last all your life because you have this guilty feeling. So as I say, you talk to friends, but you're burdening them because they don't know what to say. They're not trained. So a professional is trained to sit and listen. And if you're short of funds, your doctor or your local medical service can arrange for free therapy. So as I say, I gave a public talk, and then I put a little piece into my novel where my character Elizabeth had just, like myself, had just gone through too much. So I just read this little piece off my laptop, okay? At dawn, after a night of twisting and turning in bed, I finally abandoned all hope of sleep and quietly left Ballione. I was in a frantic state by the time I reached Foxrock. I couldn't go on living this worthless life. I stood in the hall for a few minutes before going to the desk in the drawing room where I kept my bottle of sedatives and sleeping tablets, my means of escape. Taking them from the desk, I sat on the edge of the sofa, opening them and emptying the pills onto the coffee table. For a moment, the white pyramid-shaped mounds intimidated me. Tentatively, I swallowed one, and then another, until I was stuffing them into my mouth in handfuls and washing them down with neat gin. A sense of joy and relief surged through me. My suffering would soon be over. I sank back into the sofa and smiled, surrendering to the drowsy feeling that was creeping through me. I really can't say anything more about that. Anyway, that's my little piece for today. Take care. Bye.